I told you guys that I was let go after 20 years.
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please take a moment to like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel, and don't forget to like the video because it helps with my algorithm. So in today's video is a topic that hits close to home for millions of Americans, especially those in their 50s, 60s and even in 70s, who are suddenly finding themselves jobless, not because of lack of skill but because of something much more uncomfortable to talk about: age. You worked your whole life, you built experience, lead teams, solved complex problems, and now suddenly you are being replaced. And the worst part is happening in ways that hard to prove and even harder to stop. So I've put the videos together so that you watch. I'll be back to share my true sense.
I told you guys that I was let go after 20 years. No one called me. No one told me what was going on. Why? Nothing. I got a shitty letter. I'm going to read you some excerpts. Be warned, you're going to want your tissues. I regret to inform you that your employment is ending. This decision is based on a strategic business decision regarding the company's position on the current market. Please make sure all relevant files are shared. Your final timesheet is due. If you have any questions, let us know.
Hi, TikTok friends. I want to invite you to come join me on this new journey from being laid off to being fired up. After 20 years in marketing for corporate America, I recently returned to work after taking an FMLA leave to find that my job was gone. And I don't know what exactly is next, but I am definitely fired up to figure it out. Starting right here in my home, I'm going to focus on doing one budget-friendly project at a time, while, of course, I'm looking for that new marketing role, because I've heard healing and home projects go hand in hand. I don't know who I heard it from, but we're going to give it a try. So if you're navigating a life reset, or you just love a good transformation story, go ahead and give me a like and a follow. And let's do this together. Let's support each other. And let me know too if you have any budget-friendly tips. I'm always open. So I look forward to connecting and having you on this journey with me.
So my husband got laid off from his job this week, and he's been looking for a job for months, like 6 months he's been looking for a job. The problem is nobody's willing to pay what he's making now. So everywhere that he was applying, he's going to have to take a pay cut. He works in manufacturing, warehouse, logistics, driving a fork truck and doing all those things, right? So he's been applying for months. The problem is, one, nobody's hiring. Two, even if they are hiring, they can't meet him at the pay that he's already making. So he's going to take a pay cut no matter what. I'm sorry, our lifestyle is not going to fit in a pay cut. No, we can't do that. We have bills to pay. We have a lifestyle that we live. And in order to maintain, we need to make or exceed our current income. We can't take pay cuts. My advice to him was, no, don't just go willy-nilly applying for any type of job. Apply for the jobs you want, collect unemployment for a few weeks, and actually start applying for part-time jobs. If you get 2 jobs making $18, $20 an hour, you're going to be at or above what you're currently making. So that's my advice. I would consider that, but I carry our insurance. If I could find a part-time job that carried insurance, you damn right I would. I get sick of going to my same job full-time, 40 hours plus a week. I'm so sick of it. I would work 2 part-time jobs. I would break up my day, split it up like that. I sure would. I don't know why I never thought about this before. If you can't find a full-time job making the money that you're currently making, in order to avoid a pay cut, get 2 part-time jobs, making $15 to $20 an hour, and you should be set.
I got laid off in my 50s, and let me tell you, I learned the lesson the hard way. So after that experience, I told myself, I don't want to go work for somebody else anymore. I don't want to trade my time for money. I want the freedom to do my own thing, to call my own shots. I was working at the office while my girls were growing up, so I missed out on a lot of moments, and that is one of the hardest pills for me to swallow. So I came online and I just learned that there are so many things that you can do. You can actually have multiple streams of income. So I'm doing digital marketing. Under that, there's affiliate marketing. I'm actually doing letter writing. The latest is I'm part of a subscription-based business. You have an opportunity to earn money by just sharing a link. So if you're like me, especially somebody who is older and want to start saving up for retirement, or even want to find ways to get rid of your 9-to-5, comment info or go to the LINK in my profile page. You'll see all the different opportunities that I'm taking advantage of.
So it's been about 30-ish hours since I got laid off from my job. I got a TikTok notification of a video that I posted a year ago today. And a year ago today, I was getting an offer for this job. It's kind of wild how different this layoff is feeling than my previous layoff in December 2022. When I was laid off in December 2022, I felt this huge relief when I got laid off. I knew the company was not a good fit. I knew that I didn't want to stay for very long. And so I was just so grateful and received a very generous severance package considering how much time I had been there. This time around, I'm not going to lie, feels a lot different. And it's because I did envision myself having a future with this company. I'm genuinely bummed to not be working. And I keep seeing and hearing from people that the job market is a lot worse right now than it was a year ago. It's taking people a lot longer to get hired. The bar is much higher. I have friends who have been unemployed for over 6 months, over 8 months. Today, I'm not doing anything other than allowing myself to be sad. I stayed in bed until like 10 a.m. I binge watched some reality television. I went on a walk with my dog, and I'm like, that was my big thing for the day. On Monday, I will announce it to my LinkedIn network that I've been laid off, and that will kind of kick off the official start of my job search. But for the next few days, I'm just going to be sad, and self-care is...
And benefits will go through the end of March. And following that, you will be offered a severance package.
I guess I just really want to express that this is not a great business practice to hire someone with a new initiative and then decide that the funding is not there for their role. It's really dehumanizing. And I know that's not you two's decision, but if you could pass that up the chain, I'd appreciate it.
I understand.
Today was the coldest day in Seattle in 33 years, so I am bundled up. I want to talk about the layoffs at Google and at Amazon. There's been more layoffs than that. Those are the big company layoffs. And as often happens, when the big companies make a move, it helps you read the tea leaves for what is going to be going on across the industry. So it makes sense to pay attention to what Google and Amazon did. First, these layoffs were not necessarily expected by most people. Second, they were kind of predictable if you look at where they did the layoffs. In general, larger companies are laying off in spaces where the old tech that they built before large language models like ChatGPT were launched, that was AI, but that was not based on a large language model, that's all getting hollowed out. So they are letting go of teams like, for example, Amazon has been doing layoffs in the Alexa division. If you were an engineer, if you were a product manager, if you worked in that division and you were working on machine learning technology that was not an LLM, that was used to make those products better, that was used to make Alexa a more interactive and conversational experience, guess what? In general, ChatGPT just ate your lunch because they opened up a voice thing and now you can just chat with ChatGPT, and GPT-4 is the most conversational experience we have. And Sam Altman is talking about GPT-5 already. And apparently Bill Gates tried it out and loves it. So, you know, for what it's worth. The point I want to make is that the takeaway here is that large language models are disruptive. They are disruptive to other AI technology, especially in conversational spaces. You see companies proactively treating them like they are disruptive economic forces. And that means everybody else needs to take large language models seriously. It means that if you have a non-large language model machine learning team, they need to be seriously thinking about their skill set, what they're building for, and why. Because if you have been building a bunch of tech that's just about to get ripped and replaced, that's not a good position to be in. That's disruption. So that's what's going on with Google and with Amazon. If you look across the rest of the industry, it's the start of a big rip and replace motion. AI is being upended by large language models. It doesn't mean that every single thing is going to be a large language model. And it also doesn't mean that it will the machine learning stacks will only have large language models in them. That is a common misconception, and it's not true. It does mean that large language models at the core is the new default standard if you're working with language or conversation. And if you had a system, even if it was a big productionized system like Alexa, and it didn't have a large language model at the core, you're going to be looking at how you can lean down so that you can rebuild your stack with the right talent. And that is what is going on, more or less. The other piece, the other part of the sort of the layoff picture is that executives at these large companies are anticipating a ton of disruption in the broader market, and they want to position their companies to catch that disruption, to catch the benefits of that disruption. And that means if they see business models that they don't think have legs, that they don't think are going to be the future, they are going to do cuts. Twitch has not been able to turn a profit. Twitch had massive layoffs at Amazon. And that's because fundamentally, those teams that are not turning profits, that are not ringing the cash register, are not going to be tolerated in a world where all the investment dollars have to go into AI. And I think that's one of the things where when I look at that, there's probably implications for smaller companies as well, not just for Amazon and for Google. So if you're wondering, why did we start with layoffs at the beginning of 2024? Is this all happening all over again? Is it bad? Is it bad? It's actually different. It's not the same as 2023. 2023, this was just as ChatGPT was coming on the scene, but a lot of the layoffs were actually associated with the times of really easy money, the zero interest rates. I would say it was a more interest rate driven phenomenon than necessarily an AI driven phenomenon. Whereas this year, we've had AI come in, executives have time to understand it, they've seen the disruption. This is about AI. So there you go. That's my 2 cents. That's why we've been having some layoffs. It sucks for folks involved. And I am wishing all of you, if you were affected, the very best. And I hope that you can find new roles soon. It is tough out there. And it is the kind of place where you want to be persistent and you want to find a way to keep your hopes up. I've been laid off before. It's really rough. So there you go. Sending my best to folks who are affected.
700 employees have just been laid off and replaced with AI at Klarna. Klarna has just wiped out 10% of its employees. And that's just the beginning. All of these businesses are about to do the same thing. Because think about it. They don't have to pay healthcare benefits anymore. They don't have to worry about workers' comp insurance. They don't have to worry about all the HR issues that come with having a business and dealing with people. They don't have to worry about people needing lunch breaks. They now have AI that can do it around the clock. And all the money that they're going to make now and save. This is just the beginning.
That's a video, guys. I'm just here also to share my 2 cents, like what I think about today's video, why other workers are being laid off in America. So let's start with the truth. In many industries across the United States, other workers are being laid off because of restructuring, downsizing, or technological upgrades. Companies will say they are streamlining operation or eliminating redundancies. But when you look closer, it's often the oldest employers, the one with the highest salary list and longest, okay, who are let go first. It's not always like the ones who come. It's not always written in layoff notice, but it's there. We live in a culture that glorifies youth in tech, media, even healthcare and education. There is this unspoken idea that younger equals more adaptable, more innovative, and cheaper. So other workers become targets not because they are underperforming or but because they are considered too expensive or too slow to keep up. Employers won't say that direct, of course. Instead, they say things like, "We are looking for someone with fresh energy or want to pivot to more digital approach." It sounds harmless, even positive, but it's a code. Let's not forget that many of these older workers are supporting families, paying off mortgage, taking care of aging parents, and even raising grandkids. Losing a job at 55 or 60 is not the same as losing one at 25. The stakes are much higher than job market is not kind to other applicants. Age discrimination in hiring is very really real. Studies show that once you are over 50, your chances of getting called in for an interview drop significantly, even if you are more qualified than younger applicants. And here is another layer of problem. Retirement is getting pushed and further out. Most Americans can't afford to retire at 60 or even 65. Pensions are disappearing, savings are shrinking, and social security is not always enough. That means other Americans need to work longer, but at the same time, the workforce is becoming less friendly to them. It's a trap, even in the field like healthcare and education, where experiences should be highly valued, where seeing institutions pushed off staff toward early retirement or non-leadership role. In teaching, for instance, educators are being replaced with younger, less experienced ones to save on salary and benefits. In hospitals, all nurses and doctors are knocked out in favor of faster tech saves high hires. Even when the older staff have decades of knowledge, the younger ones can't just match it yet. And for other black, Latino, or immigrants workers, this is a problem in even ways. They often face both age and racial discrimination, which multiplies their barriers to finding new employment after a layoff. These workers are not just losing income, they're losing identity, stability, and dignity. Then there's this tech industry, one of the most notorious when it comes to age bias. The average age is Silicon Valley is under 35, and workers over 40 are often made to feel like they're not much like qualifying to this, despite the fact that many of them build the foundation of today's digital world. They are now being asked to step aside for the next wave of app developer and AI engineers. Even more ionic is the fact that the very people who are being laid off are the ones who train the next generation. They were mentors, the backbone, the institutional memory of these companies, and yet when budgets get tight or companies want to rebrand, it's the older employee who are sacrificed first. This is not just a labor issue, it's a cultural one. Americans are aging population. People are living longer, staying healthy, and wanting to contribute well into their 60s and 70s, but our job market is not cutting up to the reality. We praise experience in theory but push it in practice. We say we value loyalty, but let's go of the very people who given their lives to a company. And let's be clear, this is not bad for business too, because when you lose order workers, you lose mentorship, continuity, wisdom, and perspective. These are things you can't teach in a boot camp or replace with AI. So, what can be done? Part of it comes down to registration and legal protection. The Age Discrimination in Employment Act exists, but enforcement is weak. Employers know how to work around it. Stronger protection, clear accountability, and tough penalties are needed. But we also need a shift in mindset. We need to stop seeing other workers as real liability and start seeing them as an asset. Then they should pathways for other professionals to transition into advisory or part role without being forced out. We need more programs that help mature workers rescue and stay competitive to evolving industry. And more importantly, we need to change the narrative. Age is not a weakness, it's a strength, and it's time we treat it the way it is. So if you are watching this video, you're an older worker, you who have been laid off, know this, you're not alone. This is happening to millions of people across the country. But we need your voice in this conversation. We need to speak about ageism the way we speak about other forms of discrimination. If you're younger watching this video, think about your parents, your future, and the kind of workplace you want to grow in. Let's chat about this more openly. Share your story in the comment. Let me know if it has happened to you or someone you know. The only way to change the system is by refusing to be silent. Make sure you like, subscribe if you want more content and tell the truth about what's really happening in the workforce today. Remember, your age is not a flaw, it's your power. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episodes.